Greetings from the pastor of the church, Pastor Yeme for Shofa. Extend his greetings to this beautiful church and children of God. He prays that you will not lose on earth in Jesus' name.
Amen.
This evening, I have the privilege to see my first shepherd in Canada since 1993. I'm very glad and opportune to be in your midst again. I'm talking of the head of Diocese. He was my shepherd at 339 West Dundas. It's a journey that if I look back today, I thank the Lord. Because then, when he first came, we were very few. It was only 2 parishes then. We have the Ayolu, our mother parish, and the church in Western. But today, we have as many parishes this part of the world. Glory be to God on high. But having said that, history can never be erased. I thank the Lord for your life, sir. May God bless your anointing, sir. He looks young, but he's not young in the work of the Lord. And also my brothers, brothers now turned colleagues. We run streets together in Chicago with, Hallelujah. A man from the Britain. So his style might be different from yours, but don't care about it. Nice to see you again, my bro. And my other brother there, that I always appreciate the gift that God has given him. I say this in his presence. I don't know if Alagba Lawal was once a member of the choir, but myself, my HOD, and Alagba Bakare, we all grew up in that barricade. Then, when we were in the old church, then my HOD used to play the conga. I play the set drums, and I sing. Well, to the Hallelujah. And I remember then I had a job. And because of the gift I have then, if I leave the church on Sunday, it doesn't look the same. And he called upon me and said, Alababalogun, you go to church on Sunday? I said, yes, sir. He said to me, go back to God and tell God what you want. And sincerely speaking, I did, and the Lord answered my prayer. And since then, I never missed Sunday service. But as God will have it, not quite a while that he came to Canada, I relocated to United States of America. Botiwoluwa lo shola. Botiwoluwa lo shogo. Kò sẹ́ni tó lè bí léèrè. Botiwoluwa lo shola. Hallelujah. Today, as the Lord liveth, we can still see each other's face. We are both now in the vineyard, but I still recognize the fact that he is my senior shepherd. Celestial Church is a very good church. But one thing we are missing is that sometimes when we are too comfortable, we forget where we are coming from. Mumi duro, mumi duro. Mumi duro dopin. Jésù Olúwa mi. Olúwa mi o. Mumi duro dopin. As we were coming, my colleague and I were discussing in the car. I remember then the man who started Celestial Church in Canada. We started from Pape under the basement. Alabakalejaye is gone. And what happened then was a lady came from Nigeria and brought Turaria Jeji. Olofi Lafina Mokwe Ibolotiri. Today is no longer in the church. And my colleague was saying, there is a song we sing in Jomimo. Jesu fún mi lágbára.
Alessio, inu ìjọ mímọ́ dópin, Jésù fún wa lágbára, kí èmi lè sìn ọba tèyè.
Don't generalize that song. Sing it to yourself. Kí èmi lè sìn ọba tèyè. The agbára is the power to be able to sustain the winds when it comes to blow. The power is for you and I to be able to stand firm when evil forces rise against us in the church. The power is for us to be able to stand firm to the end, regardless of what is going on. Ẹ má gbàgbé, àti wèrè, àtòṣó àtàjẹ́ lolúwa pèsè ní ìjọ yìí. So it is for you and I to recognize those things because it is an hospital. For the unrighteous to become righteous. For the sick to become healed. For the less privileged to be privileged. Àwa tá jẹ́ nǹkankan. Tàwa dẹni tí Ọlọ́run tó gbé sókè tí ayé ń wò. Ògo ni f'Olúwa lókè ọ̀run.
Hallelujah.
Bóyá o gbàgbé ibi tó ti ń bọ̀. Bóyá o gbàgbé ìrìn àjò tó ti ń rìn bọ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀. Don't see Celestial Church as a place where you can use people and dump them. That has happened so much. When they come from Nigeria and they have no place to go, they are KNS from Nigeria. But the moment they get here, almost say let me because someone pay a man for welfare. But I want to appeal to you today. You cannot stop doing what God asked you to do. Because 10 were healed. Ọ̀kan ló padà wá ṣọpẹ́. I remember when I started my ministry in 1995. Baba that came to Canada. And all the spiritual items that the wife did not sell, I was given everything to take to Boston, Manchester, where I was posted. But believe me sincerely, in anticipation, hello? I'm telling you my own personal experience when I started the journey. Maybe you can learn from that. The senior shepherds I knew then, they do all they can for people with the expectation that they will come back. So I learned that from them. So each time, Tibari won't talk about it, Mama Binu, look on me. But on the day I met the Lord, He told me 10 were healed. Only 1 came back to give thanks. And so I don't really care anymore. I do as God has led me. So, CMP, I am appealing to you. People will knock on your door for help and assistance. Ayọ̀ Olúwa pẹ́ títí.
Ayọ̀ títí ayé.
Nínú iṣẹ́ rẹ̀ làwa ń yọ̀.
Nínú iṣẹ́ rẹ̀ làwa ń yọ̀. Nínú iṣẹ́ rẹ̀ làwa ń yọ̀.
Bàbá wa súre fún wa. I say we have a lot of young guys there. I'm very happy to see you all because I did not grow up in Sele. Though I joined the church as a very young guy at age 12 in 1974. I was born in 1962, so maybe you can calculate that. So I grew up in the choir. So I know all the riddles surrounding the church. But I was not born there. I cannot but thank the Lord for bringing me to Celestial Church. Coming from an extended family anyway. So pé tó bá ní ogún, ẹ tó bá ní ògo, á ní ogún. Ṣùgbọ́n ìjọ yìí dúró fún ìgbàlà àti ògo wa. And all of us have enjoyed that. What are we giving back to the church? Are the questions we need to ask ourselves. Ìjọ mímọ́ látọ̀run wá. Látọ̀run wá. Ìjọ mímọ́ látọ̀run wá. Ó ṣe lọ́wọ́ fún wa. This song was given by the angels. That when the church was coming on earth, and they were like, this church of the heavens, you angels are taking it to the world of these people that Genesis chapter 6 says that He, God, was disappointed because He created man. So we need to be very careful what we bring into the church and our attitudes and behaviors sometimes. She has seen Ọlọ́run ṣá. Ṣó ṣì ń gbénu wa ṣá. Ṣá ṣì ń ṣe ìfẹ́ rẹ̀ ṣá. Ṣá ń tẹríba fún ara wa. Àbí ìfẹ́ inú ara wa là ń ṣe. Today, we dedicate this church. What is dedication? And this church is called a model parish. That is a structure that you are trying to remodel. Hello?
Yeah.
Be very careful that you do not change the structure and the tenets of the church as much as you are trying to make it model. Be very, very careful that you don't change the tenets of the church, because if you do, you are missing it. Jesus Christ, through the founder of the church, has given us instruction of how to worship in the church. And thank God that they make it so easy that we have what is called manual of instruction, which is the way Ilano is saying. So once you are baptized, you can be called upon to come and conduct the service during the week. Don't run away. Unfortunately, when we were growing up, we never had theological school. So we learn as we watch our fathers do what they do. But now, we are privileged that some of us can personally go to Bible school. But when they come back from there, torí wọn máa sọ pé káàdì tá à ń tọ́ yẹn kò wọ́ọ̀fẹ́ kò ṣe gbá kò ṣe ọ̀ à ń tàn kó tó lọ ò wá dé tó o láà gbọ́dọ̀ tàn mọ́. No, it shouldn't be so. There's nothing wrong to have knowledge of the word of the Lord. There's nothing wrong. That's why our parents sent us to school, to be better in life. But you cannot say because you're a medical doctor, no, that didn't mean the man that was in the farm, cutting grass, selling yam and alubosa for you to survive, now you say you don't know him again. May we not be bastards in Jesus' name. What am I saying in a nutshell? CMP, you are lucky to have this man of God in your altar today. It is the will of God. But the moment that test Bobby, I want to tell you what I want you to know to So I appeal to you, humble and reverence yourself in this house. The lesson right to our hearing. And it's good to give thanks to the Lord. But something always bothers me in our church. I don't know if that happens here in this diocese. Be a band shocker. The moment the man says hallelujah, and it's not right. You must know when you leave the church. Kitebeka won't be for 5 hours and start gossiping after the service. No, that's why you call it a model parish. Please, lay a foundation that when people come, they will be able to adjust them. If they cannot, they will leave. I'll give you a situation that happened to me when we started Rehoboth in 2005 in Chicago. There is a man, it's still a man. I will not say there was, it's still a man. That guy drives Mercedes Benz. I'm telling you the truth, sir. Our worker. Because of the need for the church at that time. So I appeal to you, sir. When they come in, members of the church, don't look how beautiful they are. Don't look at the laces on their sutana. Attorney genuine. And those of you that are founding members of the church, hold yourself firm. You must stand firm and be truthful. My mandate in this church now is John 4:24. When I was called and given the mandate of head of diocese. God is a spirit. Those who must worship him in spirit and in truth. If those things are missing amongst us, then we are not worshiping God. I say it loud and clear. If those things are missing in our midst, we are not serving a true God. I wish the days of our forefathers can still be here. People like Baba Joseph, Baba Bada, and all the rest of them. Those days when they pray for the sick, within a tickle of an eye, boom. Because if one no, anyone more say one bara one tun kokon, it terrible kilo share what I want. Kilo sonu. Kilanwa. Is it about the kingdom of God? It's about ourselves or about the kingdom on earth? So those are the questions we need to ask ourselves as we serve in Celestial Church. Please better be careful. Especially those of us that are sitting in the altar, those behind are looking at us. That Iraq pere wo la nfile le. Ẹ̀yin mama tí wọ́n wá so jẹ́ pé ẹjọ́ lè mama ro rai. Ẹ sínú lé yín Ọlọ́run lẹ wá sìn. Tó bá dé bá yín wí ẹ kàn rí mọ́lẹ̀. Ẹ kíyèsára. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ mo bẹ̀ yín. Let us humble ourselves while we come to the church. Ìtẹríba ìjọ mímọ́. Ẹ ṣòdodo ẹ̀yin ìjọ mímọ́. Ojú mi wò ṣẹ́yìn lókè ọ̀run. I couldn't sleep all night because I was asking God, what do I share with these people? Malika bá mi sọ̀rọ̀ nínú ìwé orin mo gbọ́ ìpè ọ̀dọ́ àgùntàn. Jésù ló ní kí n wá. Màá tẹ̀lé Jésù dé òpin. Òtítọ́ ló gbọ́ ìpè. Ṣé òun ṣe ìfẹ́ rẹ̀? The second verse of that song. Màá ṣe ìfẹ́ ti bàbá. Bóyá o ti ṣe é rí nísinsìnyí ò ṣe mọ́. Ṣàṣì ń ṣe ìyàsímọ́ ní church ṣàbá ṣe ìyàsímọ́ mọ́. These are the things that our forefathers laid down for us that they were able to see the glory of the Lord. In some churches now, Wednesday and Friday service doesn't even matter to them. They are all Sunday tablets. And they come on Sunday, they want to tell the servant of God what to do. No, it cannot be so. So when he chose to ask us to sit down here, he sat down us here for a purpose. To teach you the way of the Lord. And there can never be two masters in a boat. Get it loud and clear. You must submit yourself. If you want to be always and down, that's your choice. But whoever that the Lord has placed as the watchman of the house will tell you what to do. And if elders are seeing that you are doing what is wrong, they can correct you. And it has to be in all humility and all honesty. Because it says, be careful, you that standeth, so that you might not fall. Galatians chapter 6. There's anyone is caught in a fault amongst us, those of us are spiritual. That is, some of us must live a standard of life. You cannot run the street and we run the street. There must be a demarcation between you and us as servants of God so that we can be able to stand to rebuke you when you do what is wrong. So I want to appeal to you, know who you serve. My late shepherd, Baba Dekeba, always tell us when we were younger that being your band wa meta to burujulaye. 3 characters. Say you are a womanizer, you drink, and you club. We are made to understand that if you have those 3 attitudes, within 2-3 years that you join Celestial, you must have dropped 1 and 2. Maybe you have 1 to figure out with. But if you are in here, in fact, let me share this with you. When I was growing up in church, I live in the Butemeta. I used to play kashi. Kashi is when you play cards with money. So I went to an harvest. My intention was to steal money in that harvest. I'm telling you as it is. Things I used to do, I do them no more. There's a great change in my life today. So I just bought a new slip-on. There was a slip-on that was then out in Lagos. Believe me sincerely, hallelujah. So believe me sincerely, I learned a lot of lessons in this church. Sincerely. I learned a lot so that I can share with those that are coming behind. A man in a church, treasurer. Meanwhile, the chairman of the church then knew that the income of the church was dropping. So the wife now went to the shepherd of the church. Daddy, Baba Lagbaja kowo wole. Baba gbà mí. Nígbà tí ìyàwó sọ fún olùṣọ́ àgùntàn, he denied. The week after, he lost his job. What a mighty God we serve.
What a mighty God
we
serve.
Angels bow before him. Heaven and earth adore him. What a mighty God we serve. Sẹ́yìn ìjọ là ń sọ ìtàbọ̀ tó ṣàkóso náà wà lára wa o. Tọ́mà kówó ìpín fún wa, tá à ní kó pé. À ń kó ọrọ̀ jọ. How many tí you know? So, gbogbo àná lọ́wọ́ ń bẹ̀. But the fact remains, how is your relationship with God? Calvary Model Parish, I congratulate you. I pray that the Almighty will uphold you to the end.
Amen.
The will of God will come to pass over you all in this church.
Amen.
Ṣùgbọ́n mo bẹ̀ yín, your connection to the headquarters should be maintained. Bí àwọn ènìyàn bá ń wá síbi tán san ìdá mẹ́wàá wọn, dandan ni wípé ìjọ yìí láti máa san ìpín. And that's the connection you have with the headquarters of the church. There was a shepherd in Chicago. Tí bills bá ti dé báyìí, bàbá máa jókòó lé bills ní ọ̀tí tó bá gbowó oṣù ẹ̀. And the church was running and piling in debt of utility bills. Because the man of God was not sure of where the next meal will come. Are we truly called? Are we called? If we are called, the Lord is enough to sustain us. I remembered some years ago when I was looking unto God for the blessings of the womb. Every Wednesday morning service, after the service, when I pray for the congregation, I cry. Genesis chapter 15, when Abraham was asking God. But at a day that I least expected, he heard my cry. If I had my way, I wanted to have those things done when I was young, but only what are you asking God for that you have not received? Moment bó ti ṣe tèmi. 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 Ó bẹ̀rẹ̀ ó sàn ó jí òkú dìde. Moment bó ti ṣe tèmi. Ṣé mo pa àwọn ọmọ celestial a ní ìṣù kan? Wọ́n ní ara ilé ẹ̀ ń gbàdúrà fún wọn. Ìyàwó ilé ẹ̀ ò dẹ̀ ṣàbíamọ́. Ayé ò ní gan wa. Ṣùgbọ́n ṣá tó máa jẹ́ ìfẹ́ Ọlọ́run ni ọba tí ń sọ ẹ̀gàn di ògo yóò sọ ẹ̀gbẹ́ mi àti rẹ̀ di ògo. Gbàgbọ́, do the will of the Lord. Má sìn láti wù ènìyàn. Worship to please God. Do not worship to please man. Because man cannot do anything for you. No. Man cannot do anything. Baba, they always tell us those days that your worship is like when you put a food in a freezer. It's like when you store a food in a freezer. There will be a time that you might not be able to do those things. But those things that you have stored will start to come back to you. Be faithful in your giving. Solomon offered thanks to God. That is, in an offering, God can renew a covenant to you. Ọ̀pọ̀ ọmọ bá ṣe ń ṣọpẹ́. Mọ yẹgbẹ́ wa tí kò náà ti pa. You know how long churches were shut down? That people were dying anyhow. So for God to spare you and I, there must be a reason behind that. Ṣé ìwọ ọmọ bá ṣe ń ṣọpẹ́? If you take a child to McDonald's now and you buy him some fries and said, Bisi, can I have 2 fries? I know, mommy. ó ti gbà pé ìyá yẹn ló ra fries fóun bẹ́ẹ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ la rí níwájú Ọlọ́run ọba tó mọ̀ wá tó mọ̀ ìbẹ̀rẹ̀ tó pin ayé wa àwọn tó ń kójọ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ yìí kì í ṣe tiẹ̀ o nítorí tọ́lọ́jọ́ bá dé àwọn tí ò tiẹ̀ mọ̀ ẹ́ wọ́n á ṣe báṣubàṣu wọ́n á máa wò pé had I known I would have helped that young brother, have I known I would have helped that sister. What are you doing to help those that are surroundings of you? Ṣé ìmọ́lẹ̀ rẹ̀ ń tàn? Ṣé iṣẹ́ ìsìn rẹ̀ ó tàn níwájú Ọlọ́run? Yes, you come to church, but people surrounding you, are you of good help to them? Calgary. Please extend your hand of fellowship to those who are surrounding you. I have a testimony to share. When I was at the airport yesterday, I was in my sultana. So we're on a queue. There was a lady in front of me. All of a sudden, I just saw this guy, boom, to my front. And he has a strong cologne on him. Very smelly, good cologne. I thought he saw what I was wearing. It tested my faith. Because in my usual person, I'm like, come on, get back. But Malika told me, not you. Actually, I don't know what you. Key is Sarah. The money, Pastor, I am sorry. Okay, shall I do? You know what happened? When I was coming, it was new moon service. I didn't want to sleep on the bed so I don't oversleep. I slept on the sofa and I woke up exactly 4 p.m. and left some money in my office that I couldn't bring. You know what that guy gave me? $50 low for me, sir. Can you motivate me? Can you mo konra mo? I wo wípé aṣọ àdúrà ló dé wọ̀. Ṣé wọ́n kì í sára ṣá? Ṣé èmi àti rẹ̀ ń kì í sára? Sometimes we want to struggle and want to claim right, but sometimes we are tested. Nínú àdánwò yẹn, ògo lè jáde níbẹ̀. Àní yẹn ni mo gbà nígbà tí mo ń bọ̀. Because I never least expected it. But I was conscious I was wearing my sultana at the same time. Where have you been that people through you are castigating the image of the church? What have you done? Bóyá sáwọn àna ẹ, àbí àfẹ́sọ́nà ẹ, tó ń fẹjú mọ́ àwọn sísá àtàwọn màmá ẹ. Kàkà kó jẹ́ kí wọ́n rí ògo Ọlọ́run láàrin ẹ̀kọ́ tí nínú tá a ṣe fọ́mọbìnrin yìí, ó dẹ̀ kọ̀kọ́ lọ, ẹ yọ̀ǹda ẹ fún. Am I speaking to someone? I'm just calling you back home. That's celestial I knew. Ṣùgbọ́n má bà ìjọ ìjẹ́ fún wa o, ẹ̀yin ọ̀dọ́ sísìn. Mo bẹ̀ yín. Mo táwọn bàbá wa fi lé wa lọ́wọ́ làwa ṣì ń tẹ̀lé báyìí o. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́. Ìjọ mímọ́ dára. Ṣùgbọ́n ó ní àwọn ètò tó fi lé wa lọ́wọ́. So this model parish, I'm challenging you that you go out there and win souls for Christ. Don't care. When they come in, when they see what we do, it is the Lord that touches the heart of man. It is God that changed people for better. The only thing we can do is to show them love and pray to God so that the Lord himself can heal their wounds. May that be our portion in Jesus' name. To round up my little advice to the church, I have spoken about the tenant. I've spoken about your tithes to the headquarters of the church. Please do not join anyone to do evil. Atako wanu ado. O tafas okay. O wa yido bori. Mani koma dafe nekeni. Let God fight your battle. If you allow that to happen in your life, they will come to you and say, Bobo, I think they do voodoo. No, you go along there. Don't show. I know mi sọ̀rọ̀. Ẹ ṣeun o. Òní mi sọ̀rọ̀.
Ẹ ṣeun o. Ọ̀la mi á sọ̀rọ̀. Ẹ ṣeun o. Ìjìnlẹ̀ nínú ìjìnlẹ̀. Ẹ ṣeun o.
The last verse of that song that was given while I was sleeping overnight was Mashe Ifeti Baba. The last verse. Mashe Ifeti Baba. Mashe Ifeti Baba. Otiwu kidomo poto. Emi oni fiti sule. Are wa ba mi yo lo pare. Nígbà tó ṣe fẹ́ baba, you have an expectation. Bó bá wá ṣẹ̀sìn àwọn ojú Olúwa, òun retí ayọ̀ kan lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run. Nígbà náà ló lè pẹ́ aráyé pé ẹ wá bá mi yọ̀. Ṣùgbọ́n ohun tó wà lọ́wọ́ rẹ o láti jù sílẹ̀. Whatever attitudes that you have, that's an obstacle between you and your miracle. You must submit those things. But unfortunately, we Nigerians would like to deceive ourselves. I have a young man that I met a while ago. The guy is sick. He had some diabetic issues. And as a young woman, I said, Daddy, I want you to pray for me on water, that I cannot perform my rights as a man on a woman. You have to go see a doctor for the doctor to examine you. See, we must be able to speak the truth to ourselves. Yeah, prayer is good, but there are some steps you need to take as an individual. There was a man in London, a young man who just became a shepherd of a church. The first miracle God gave him. The wife called him and said, Bishop, and the man just took an apple and he prayed on it. Believe me sincerely, that man was healed. So I want to appeal to you, make sure you check up yourself medically. It is very important. We are not a bunch of fools. Pastors are not a bunch of fools. And we cannot fix it all. We are not Christ. We can only try to advise you what to do, to counsel you. But some of us have taken that advantage to destroy many homes. When the woman comes to the shepherd and says, Baba, Ibami, and the shepherd then told him, I know a church of the Lord Alberta, each time they gather together, they always pray for their pastors before the commencement of the service. But so let us change our mindset. I want this church to start to lay a good foundation. Please make sure when he was in Detroit, he usually do something. When he goes out, he brings his members to anywhere he goes. The secretary was saying he saw people from Alberta, right? Edmonton. Yeah, they're here. You too should do the same. That's a celestial church for you. I don't know, maybe that's a practice in London that they're trying to bring out, but I saw that from Alberta when he came from London to US. Any parishes he goes, either a co-money or my shoe. So anytime that church has anything to do, we have no choice. All of us will go en mass. So, you must show love for you to have love back in return. It shall be well with you. Amen. It shall be well with us. Amen. If you